These critters have been making the news. In recent months, there have been increased sightings. Talking Point has spent the last 2 months on the hunt for these nocturnal creatures to find out where these rats are lurking. In this 2-part special, I'm investigating why rats seem to be resurfacing around Singapore. Can we ever win this war on rats? I've been given access to the National Environment Agency's rat hunt in Toa Payoh. We combed the area while the team set up and found something on our own. So we are meeting the guys from NEA who's going to do the surveillance check, and even before we start, we've already seen a dead rat.
Somebody saw rats running at the lift lobby areas.
Oh, I see.
So we were thinking of going to inspect that site, see whether there's any issue there.
These officers receive feedback on rodent sightings and are here to zone in on what's causing them.
Ready? Yeah.
They're checking suspected rat burrows to see if they are still active.
No sign of rat. Yeah. Okay, can. Go there.
So what will you do with something like this if there's a hole
So we
still
will
open?
ask the stakeholder to seal it up. So in the future, the rats will not easily dig a hole or use the hole as a burrows.
The team is also checking the bin centers because they are a popular food source for rodents. Could this be where the rats are lurking? So we are in the bin center and we're taking photos just above it to see if there's any rat activity. So far it looks like we've seen droppings.
I don't think it's dropping, it's actually cockroach. There's no sign of rat activity.
Now you know it's not the bin center. How else will you investigate where they're coming from?
So the next step will be looking at the drains. We will be installing these passive infrared cameras. So whenever the rats run past the camera, it will take the footage. So we'll install for a period of time. Then after we can see whether there's any rats using the drains.
And earlier on you were looking for burrows, right? Oh, where?
Inside the drain.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So what does that mean?
Yeah,
Where
most
did
likely
he
the
come
rat
from?
is coming from the
From
drain.
the drain.
Yeah, it's still alive.
So what do we do now that we see one live rat out in the open?
So we'll let the stakeholder know about it.
And who are the
So,
stakeholders
For this
actually?
area will be the town council, yes.
But it's right here, so why don't we catch it, or why don't you?
Because we are not trained to catch the rat, so we will get the town council pest control to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, we are regulated, so we don't catch for them.
Yeah. And is that going to happen immediately, like right now?
No.
Then when will they catch it?
They will get their PCO to assess the area.
Do you know how long that usually takes?
If everything proceeds accordingly, within 1 week of the result that we pass to them, they should activate their PCO.
In 2023, an average of 5,200 rat burrows were uncovered. That's 25% more than 2022 and the highest in 5 years. Where are these burrows? Now there is an official map that shows these hotspots, but it's not public information. So, the Talking Point team is taking matters into our own hands by forming a rats task force. This is the RTOT, short for Rat Them Out.
Have you seen rats scurrying about lately?
We asked you to submit your sightings of rodents.
My squeaky plan is to map out rat activity across Singapore, and your info will help me track down where rodent populations are in real time.
It didn't take long for your stories to pour in. And over the next 6 weeks, our heat map of rat sightings began to take shape. As of 4th June, 3 neighborhood rodent hotspots emerged: Hougang, Tampines, and Toa Payoh coming in first, with 54 sightings in just slightly over a month. One of the sightings was sent in by Toa Payoh resident Candice Lee. She actually sent in this, an elaborate rodent sighting log sheet. And also marked out the hot zones around her estate. She wants to know just what's making her neighborhood so enticing to rats. This is Daphne Ling. She deals with rats daily. She's coming with me to meet Toa Payoh resident Candice Lee.
I'm usually not out at this time of the night because there's a terrible rat infestation here and I don't want to run the risk of walking past a rat. But for the sake of showing you guys just how bad the problem is, I will lead the way and give you a rat tour. Yeah, so usually my family and I, we don't walk like that. We walk in single file.
Okay.
See? You hear that?
You guys missed the friend on the.
Did I step on it?
I hope not.
Is that a rat?
Yeah.
Wait, did I kill it?
No.
I hope
I don't think so.
You didn't step on it, did you?
I don't know.
Is that the smell that I was?
I don't know.
I smelled something.
Rat expert Daphne, does that look like rat meat on my shoe?
No. This looks like a Norway rat, originated from Norway. But
Okay.
rodents tend to find their way around cargo ships, so they get brought over. Yeah. Another name for it is sewer rats. I think those are the ones that people usually know. So they
Okay.
travel around sewers.
Okay.
Now, were you tearing? I cannot look at roadkill or dead animals. It just triggers me.
Okay.
I understand that they're a pest, but I also feel bad for them.
It actually died pretty recently, so I'm guessing it died today. Most likely. Oh no, are you okay? Yeah.
okay.
Suspect that like this is probably a bite like that ran through it. Yeah. So I suspect that the population could have gotten so bad that they actually started hunting in the day itself instead of at night. Yeah. But the fact that it's out in the day means that most likely this place is quite infested.
And we're not even at the hotspot yet, you know?
Oh, you're not?
We're not.
Just started our trail. So much drama at the beginning.
So you see, Toa Payoh is such an old estate. There's cracks and crevices, so usually this type of places, right, is very conducive for rodents to hide. So it could be that it's crossing in towards it. Do you see a rodent?
Oh, it went in?
Yeah, it went in. So this definitely is a rodent burrow.
Oh my gosh.
The conventional ones that you see will be like hole in the ground. But because rodents are getting smarter, right, they actually use like this type of old structures to go about building their nest.
So how do you kind of exterminate this whole thing? Like just blow it up?
We will treat it with poison. Yeah. Then once it's not active, then
Yeah.
this may cover up the
Right.
burrow.
See that hole there? That
Yes,
hole?
there's a burrow. There's burrow over there also.
Okay.
There's another burrow here.
Wow, that's huge.
That's huge, right? Yeah. Yep, there's another burrow over here. Looks like there are more.
We have only been circling around 1 block and already we've uncovered more than 3 burrows. Daphne pointed us towards the bin center nearby as a possible food source.
You see that it's actually
right.
jagged?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a high chance that the rodent actually bit into it. Yeah, because rodents, right, they have teeth that like keep growing, so they actually have to consistently keep gnawing on stuff. So they have to keep like sharpening their teeth to like make it shorter. If it keeps growing, it will actually pierce into them.
So now they can't stop gnawing.
Yeah, they can't stop gnawing. So that's why you have rodent damages around. Actually, I realized that at Toa Payoh, there's actually quite a lot of construction sites. So construction sites also displace rodents from its usual natural habitat, like your drills and everything, the vibrations.
Yeah.
You will see more and more sightings of rodents, especially during constructions.
So with so many burrows in your neighborhood and it clearly affecting the quality of your life, have you gone to the authorities about this?
Oh yeah, for sure. So earlier this year when it got really bad, I approached the town council and I wrote them like this really long letter. And I drew out this map. So it's a manual heat map that I personally tracked because over the past year, I observed a lot of like the rat sightings. I sent this to the town council as well as a live like Excel log that I was charting. So I still chart that log till today with some of my neighbors and family. So whenever we see a rat, we will write down the date, the time, the location and the size.
So what did they do? What action was taken?
They got back to me and they assured me that they were doing stuff. Since February 2024, I did see a drop in the sightings at the usual hotspots. So this red area, right, it started dropping in sightings.
Okay.
But what happened was that after a few days of like clean, I would start seeing them pop up again. And then what made me even more like bewildered was they started popping up in the yellow zone, which I had never seen in the whole of 2023.
Candice's manual heat map consists of a red zone and a yellow zone. The red zone indicates areas where burrow treatments have been done, where she observed a decline in rat sightings. Yellow zones were essentially clear zones with 0 rat sightings. So Candice is naturally alarmed when rodents start appearing in these yellow zones.
Oh, look up ahead, there's a burrow. So you can see that this burrow is currently being treated.
Ah, and how do you know that it's being treated?
So for those treated burrows, they actually spray with blue colour because blue colour is uncommon in nature. So this also helps to highlight that this particular burrow is being treated with most likely a poison bait itself.
And then what is that? Do they also put the paper there?
So the pest control technician will actually like shove the paper in as much as possible. So the rodents that are using this as a burrow or like an entryway, they will actually try to push it out. So this also shows that like, this particular burrow is active itself. Once you see that maybe the paper is no longer being pushed out, then you can tell that maybe this burrow is no longer active. Then we will recommend afterwards to seal it.
I've noticed that this treatment happened. But then I also noticed that after the old burrows were culled and we no longer see rats there were a lot of new ones that sprung up. Is it ineffective?
Yeah, it could be ineffective burrow treatment that was used. They put the poison bait, then they seal it out immediately. But this is kind of like improper because the burrow will actually appear elsewhere. If you seal it up, then like the rodents know that there's disturbance. Rodents tend to be very skittish. So if there's disturbance around the area itself, they will actually move elsewhere.
So it sounds like this rat issue, it's persistent. Why are rats so tough to deal with?
Because they're really smart, so they tend to avoid traps. Whenever they see their mate passed away, it actually releases out a pheromone, so they actually learn to avoid that area itself. So this means pest control, tackling the issue, will have to continuously come up with new different strategies to go about treating the rodent itself. And lastly, rodents are neophobic. It means that they're afraid of new things. Rodents will avoid new items that are placed around. So new items could literally means like anything from like traps, poison baits, or like even just baits itself, like has no poison in it. It takes a while for them to get used to it, to make sure that they are not fearful of the item itself before they possibly like go into the rat cage. Time that's being spent to get the rodents being used to it means that the rodent could have a chance of like continuously reproducing.
So why can't then you use like the old favorites of rats like peanut butter as something that they really love? Why not kind of use that as the bait?
Old baits has a chance of failure as well because rodents get smarter and smarter, right? So the rats may actually see other rodents eating peanut butter, getting captured. So this may actually cause it to avoid that area or avoid eating peanut butter because this is danger for them. Not only are they really smart, they also reproduce very fast. So this makes it really difficult to go about managing rodent population.
How fast do they reproduce?
One baby rat itself can sexually mature within less than 2 months. Can you imagine if like in 2 months they are sexually mature, they can already reproduce maybe up to 5 to 6 or 10 to 12. So 2 rats can become 2 million in just a couple of years.
Responding to queries from Talking Point, The Bishan Toa Payoh Town Council said since January this year, it has stepped up surveillance and culling operations. And at places where rodent burrows are detected persistently, ground treatment is done almost daily. Seeing rats scurrying around the neighborhood is bad enough. But what happens if these critters invade your home?
If I'm not going to do anything about it and the rats keep on coming, then it's either we sell the house or we go our separate ways. No joke.
As of 4th June, Talking Point received more than 600 rat sightings from our viewers, out of which 14 pointed to rats inside their homes. From Bukit Timah, Bishan to Pasir Ris. One of the contributors is Akash Mahe from Serangoon North. My co-host Stephen Chia, part of our Rat Them Out task force, is paying Akash a visit.
Okay. Hello,
Hi, Steve.
Akash. Hi.
Hi. Nice to meet
Hey,
you.
come in.
Come,
Thank
please,
you.
please.
So I hear that besides you living here, some rats are living here too.
Yes, unfortunately, yes. I have caught 4 rats in the past 2 months, 3
You say
months.
4 rats?
4, yes.
In just the last, 3 months?
Yes, around there since Chinese New Year till now.
Okay, wow. So they came for the Chinese New Year festivities and they never left.
To celebrate with me, I guess, yes. Actually, I'm about to set up the glue bots right now. You want to join me?
Rat traps?
Yes,
yeah,
rat
yeah,
traps.
Let's go.
This is basically it. So me and my wife have spent about $150 close to it just by buying this.
How many bots have you bought?
Actually about 40 to 50.
Wow.
Yeah, because my wife is super paranoid about rats. It's like a no-go for her, you know. For
Okay.
her, it's like she wanted to sell the house and she made a big hoo-ha and things like that.
Really?
And I told her, we'll buy these glue bots and I will catch the rats.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't have to sell my house. So basically, what I do is I take a little bit of a piece of bread like this, and if I
Yeah.
put it at the edge here,
Yeah.
which I've tried, they came, they nibbled, they left.
Oh, because you put it at the edge, they could just
exactly
pinch
nibble
it
and
on the
left.
side.
You know, so now I'm smarter. So now I put it right here, smack in the center,
Right.
and I leave it there, and I put it one over here, and I leave it overnight. You know, because we have spotted 2 rats here actually.
I mean, this is solid. Below is blocked, so they can't go underneath.
Exactly, but I do not know how they're hiding somewhere inside. Maybe from the piping, maybe there's a hole or something like that. You know.
Okay.
I'm really not too sure. And then one more I put on the outside because I've caught one at outside as well, out here.
Okay.
Yep. Right here below. And I just leave it there and just wait for them to get caught.
So apart from the $150 that you spent on glue traps, what else have you tried to do?
My wife had this idea that they could be hiding behind the furniture.
Okay.
So we had to shift this piano. This piano was over here.
Yeah.
All right. Me and my helper, we shifted this piano from here. We shifted it out. We saw a rat, and it ran, and it went over there. So I was like, wow, my wife was right.
So when you moved the piano out, the rat ran out?
It ran, and it went that way. You know. So this table was elongated this way, so we just had to make it flat against the wall.
Okay.
That cabinet, which was here, we put it over there. So now it's like basically less space for the mice to or the rats to hide. You know.
And do you know where these rats are coming from?
Actually, Steve, to be honest, no idea. But I mean, I'm on the 4th floor. We really wanted to find out what was causing this this rat issue in my house. So we even went to the extent to call NEA. And NEA sent 2 guys down, did a quick sweep of this area, and they told me that there are burrows behind my lift area and all that. But I checked with all my neighbors, and my neighbors don't have this issue. It's only me. So another theory that I have is because I have a dog and I have dog food in my house, which is just in the kitchen.
Yeah.
They could have been attracted to it as well.
Okay. So would you say your house now rat-free?
Actually, to be honest, I really do not know. I'm quite worried as well, so I'm just going to leave the glue bots around and let's see how it goes.
But what if you catch another rat again?
Then I think my wife is going to make me sell the house. I don't have a choice. It's either I sell the house or I try and convince her again, hey, we got $150 worth of glue bots, man, just let me keep trying.
The natural habitat of rats are burrows, typically found in greenery. But rats are now invading our homes too. I want to know why. While most squirm at the sight of rats, Denise examines them closely because she's been studying how rats are thriving in Singapore.
So based on our heat map of rats in Singapore, some of our viewers have shared that rats are now being sighted in their homes. Why is that the case?
In their homes? In high-rise buildings?
Yeah, in condos, in HDBs as well.
Okay, it's quite surprising for me to hear that. I don't think it's a very common occurrence. It could be increased rainfall that drive them out of the burrows. It could be actual management actions to close these burrows. The pressure that it's putting on the population has kind of caused them to scatter. They are opportunistic by nature, so they are going to go wherever there is food and shelter, and maybe that's how they end up in the houses.
So would rats found in homes be an increasing new phenomenon?
To be honest, I may not be able to answer you based on what we currently know. As long as food, shelter, water is around, they could make their way into people's homes, and which is why we often encourage people to practice the right waste management measures.
Would you say they've adapted to the urban Singapore land?
We find that the rats are actually quite well adapted to the local urban environment. So when we say they are well adapted, what it means is that on top of the habitats that you traditionally find them in, they will also exploit whatever is available to them in the country. In Singapore, we see them starting to make use of bin centres. So they will feed in bin centres. They might even nest in the structures that the bin centres are composed of.
So the fact that the rats are now able to live in places that they don't usually live at, does that make it more challenging for us to control this rat problem?
Yes, unfortunately, it makes it a bit trickier. When you're looking for them, you have to widen your search area. When you're applying control measures to reduce the population, similarly, you have to target different habitats. That means more effort.
And it's not as straightforward as looking at one area. You have to look at other areas as well.
Exactly.
The rat problem now is harder to control than ever because rats have adapted to Singapore's landscape, expanding territories beyond where they are usually found. We may need to pull out all the stops in this war on rats, from deploying new technology to outwit these smart rodents.
There's a lot of alcohol, okay.
Yeah, so it needs to be that strong in order to prevent the rodent from decomposing.
To even
This is a rat contraceptive?